The first domino has fallen on the Packers offseason, with the Packers announcing that Joe Barry, defensive coordinator, will not be back after 3 years with the team. A move that many Packers fans have been calling for months and now finally has come. A lot of us were concerned that maybe, with the way the Packers ended the season, especially playing pretty sound defense against some pretty good competition the last few weeks, that he might be back. He might have saved his job, but that is not the case. So, who is out there to look forward to potentially as candidates? And, what direction do the Packers envision themselves going on this side? So to name a few without getting into too deep of detail, Jim Leonard is one out there, former Wisconsin Badgers defensive coordinator, played under Mike Pettin in Cleveland and in Buffalo, I believe, and was by a lot of reports the Packers' number one choice before they hired Barry. Back then, he presumed he was probably the heir to the Wisconsin head coaching job, which didn't end up bearing any fruit. So does he want to come back? A Wisconsin boy, born and raised. Does he want to be the Packers defensive coordinator? It is an appealing job, and maybe that's enough for him to, reconsider his position from the last time. Another name out there, Al Harris. A lot of Packers fans would call for this one as well because of the fact that he's a familiar name. We do like the aggressive style that he played with as a cornerback, and the things he's done with Dallas as the defensive backs coach over the last couple seasons. Really, they've gotten a lot of turnovers, and if he can kind of breed some of that playmaking within the secondary, maybe we find ourselves in a little bit different situation than the handful of dropped interceptions we had against San Francisco this past weekend. After that, you've got guys like Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator for Michigan for the last few seasons, top defense in college, young guy. Maybe we bring him in. Another one out there is Ejiro Evero, Broncos defensive coordinator under Nathaniel Hackett, the Panthers defensive coordinator this past season. Both defenses performed pretty well given the personnel, especially on this last one with the Panthers, but finds himself kind of attached to some head coaching that kind of got him out of position. So does he want to potentially take another job, even if it is just a year with the Packers? Another guy that we had looked at back in 2020 that maybe he comes on board with us now. Uh, Up and coming, very talented young coach. And I mean, honestly, he's probably earning some circulation in the head coaching conversation as well. Um, Other than that, you've got some, more seasoned approaches. So I saw some reporting that Philadelphia might actually be calling on the services of Ron Rivera, so the Commanders head coach this past season. Defensive mind, cut his teeth on that 85 Bears defense, and really a good defensive coach, good coach overall. Just found himself in a little bit of a rough situation in Washington with some of the personnel he had. I think he could also be a very strong candidate for us. And then another, more veteran presence would be Leslie Frazier, the former Vikings head coach, most recently the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills up until about 2022. So got a few candidates out there. I'd love to hear what you think. Do you want to go with somebody that's got a little bit more of a veteran presence, been there, kind of demands that respect from the players? Or do you want to kind of go with a little bit more of a young, more innovative approach with some of these guys that, haven't necessarily proven themselves as much or are maybe, a little bit younger on that side? Let me know in the comments below what you think. And really just the start of this offseason is fantastic, just with the news that we're going in a different direction at defensive coordinator.